rewind. This is Dope Nostalgia.
Welcome, friends. This is episode 236 of the Dope Nostalgia podcast. I'm your friend Naomi, your host, always here for you. Today we're talking with Ben Hans. He's a Nashville-based musician and drummer and music instructor who's had the opportunity to play with so many big acts from that era of the 90s. So I got him on the show to tell us about some of his touring and his experiences. We'll be talking to him shortly, but first, I had started introducing a new segment where I talk to young people, maybe millennials, maybe Gen Zs, maybe the alpha generation, about what they know about music from the 90s. And today my guest is one of my coworkers, Koda. My friend Erica, also my coworker, is going to help me talk to Koda about stuff that she remembers or has heard about. She couldn't remember anything. She was born way too soon, like in the 2000s. She doesn't remember shit, but she knows some stuff. So we're going to welcome Koda to the show. Hello.
Ooh. Ooh.
Hello. Let's interview. Okay, this is for Dope Nostalgia podcast. We're going to interview Koda. We have to interview you.
Welcome to our interview.
Hello, Koda. Welcome to Dope Nostalgia podcast.
Hi.
How do you feel about being here?
Okay.
Cool.
I have to ask you questions about the 90s for the podcast. Don't be afraid. It's okay.
Are you familiar with the 1900s?
Yes. yes, I am.
Okay, you ask the questions. She's going to use this mic.
Okay.
Here.
Ooh, what color was ketchup in the 1990s? Was that the 90s?
Red?
Oh, purple, green, blue.
Oh, so I'm going to be on your show?
Yeah.
Oh. Sure.
Are you Gen Z or are you a millennial?
I think I'm...
She's not. She's the other one, the Gen Alpha.
No, what? No. No,
That's like
I'm
the
Gen
COVID
Z.
kids,
No.
right?
No, yeah, Gen Z.
What was your birthday?
2007. I'm pretty sure Gen...
Okay.
Have you heard of Janet Jackson?
Yes.
Who is she?
Michael Jackson's brother. I mean, sister.
She does look like a boy sometimes.
Why did I say brother?
Oh, can you name a song by Janet Jackson?
I love rock and roll.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you tell me about Britney Spears? What do you know about her?
Hit me, baby.
She's was very popular in the 2000s, early 2000s. Mm-hmm. I love Britney Spears.
Oh, do you love when Britney shaved her head?
No.
Why?
She got abused by her dad.
It was an iconic moment of her letting go. I know it was an iconic moment of her letting go everything. She wanted to give the public eye something to talk about. She's like, you want something to talk about? Here. And she took back her.
She looked a little scary.
Yes, she was very scary.
Yeah. For the American listeners, she said a boot.
What are you talking about?
You said a boot.
Did I actually?
Kinda.
Is it a boat or a boot?
You said a boot, yeah.
You're talking a boot. I don't understand.
Okay, what do you know about Madonna?
Like a virgin.
No, I actually know Madonna.
You know Madonna?
Yes, of course. She's in the Pixels movie.
Is she really?
Yeah.
What is she doing
She's
in there?
Lord's mom. She sang Material Girl.
Okay.
That's all I know. Just know she was very popular.
Okay, that's wonderful, actually.
Okay.
Okay, I will ask you about one more artist. Have you heard of Prince?
Prince? Yes.
What do you know about him?
I don't know.
Nothing?
I know he's black. But that's all I know. That's all I know.
You've done great today, Koda. You know a lot more than some people do at your age.
Okay, that's
About the
good.
90s.
I'm a little surprised. I was a little scared.
Now I'll make you sign a waiver. Just kidding.
Okay.
What did they call it? Do not resuscitate? No, NDA. NDA, non-disclosure agreement.
Okay.
Thanks. You're on my podcast.
Okay, bye podcast.
Wikipedia moments.
Please bear in mind that Wikipedia can be edited by anyone at any time. If I'm reading you the artist's bio, then you know it's information straight from the source.
Ben Hans is a Nashville-based musician and music instructor who keeps a busy performance schedule, performing many genres of music. Ben performs as a freelance artist who cut his teeth performing under the tutelage of jazz guitarist Jack Grassel and the late swing clarinetist Chuck Hedges. Ben has shared the stage with a diverse list of artists such as singer, songwriter, composer, and Grammy-nominated Kip Winger, Eric Martin of Mr. Big, Steve Brown and PJ Farley of Trixter, Anthony Corder, the voice of Tora Tora, and such a huge list more of talented musicians he's worked with. So Ben is also an author, proofreader, freelance editor, and session performer for Hal Leonard Publishing, with published works including Workin' Drums, 50 solos for drum set, 40 intermediate snare drum solos, and like tons and tons more. Hal Leonard is a big deal, and he's got a bunch of titles to his name, so this is straight from his bio. So, with over 3 decades of experience as an educator and clinician, Ben currently instructs private studio lessons in Nashville and through the Nashville Music Academy. Now, Ben has also enjoyed working with his students at his former music instructor positions at the Milwaukee Area Technical College, the Wisconsin Lutheran College, and keeps going. The guy knows what he's doing. All right, so to tell us a bit about his experiences with artists from the 90s and what he's up to today, welcome Benjamin Hans to Dope Nostalgia. Cool. You're actually in Nashville. You live in Nashville, correct?
Yeah. I've been here 8 years this summer, and I'm really enjoying it. It's the music city. It's not just country music. Everybody has this idea it's just country music, but it's totally not. Mm-hmm. It's so much more. There's a blues scene here. There's a jazz scene. There's a lot of rock musicians live here. It's a great symphony orchestra here. It's the music business is here. So a lot of the labels are here and management and all that kind of good stuff. So it's an awesome place to be, and you never know who you're going to run into.
I understand that you teach drums there too.
Yeah. So I'm a lifelong teacher, and here in Nashville, I work. Actually, I'm teaching in 4 schools right now, and I teach private lessons through the Nashville Music Academy, and I work at a college here called SAE Institute, Nashville. We actually have a Canadian SAE also, but there's 5 of them, I believe, throughout the United States and Canada, and it's a music business and audio recording school. So I've been there since I moved here about 8 years, and enjoy doing that too.
That's fantastic. I would love to go to a recording school. I took some courses here at a local production studio, but that would be really cool to go to someplace like that.
It's a cool thing, you know. It's you get out of it what you put into it. So when students are really tuned in and they're showing up to class and doing the homework and doing their assignments, it's an amazing thing. So we do have students that go on to do really awesome things through the school. But yes. Did
you attend music school?
Well, yeah. So I know you sent me a message and said, hey, let's get into the 90s. So I was thinking about it. For me, the 90s was like a preparation and experience time in music. So in the 90s, I was in college for music. So I studied at a couple different places, but eventually graduated. And I got turned on. I was in the 90s, man, I was really listening to like Smashing Pumpkins and Soundgarden. And I was really into that Temple of the Dog record and a lot of other things in that era. Of course, Alice in Chains. But in the 90s, I was in college and I learned about jazz music. So I made a full transition into jazz. And I studied jazz music for a long time and formed a band with my classmates and started doing gigs. And eventually I got good enough where I started working with my teachers. And some of my teachers started hiring me. And so there was probably about 10 years I played with a great jazz guitar player named Jack Grassel, and I learned a whole bunch of stuff. I played his songbook, and he had like 40 or 50 tunes in the songbook, and they're all odd time signatures and fusion things and all different like Afro-Cuban things. So it was like a good school for me doing that. So yeah, I listened to a lot of music, and then I played a lot of jazz music at that time, and I actually worked in a record store. So I come from that period that a lot of younger people don't know the vibe of the record store vibe, and I'm sure you know about it. It's some, some point you probably dug it too, but I mean, it was like, that was a hang.
It
I
was. That was the coveted job too.
It was a great gig. I loved it.
Yeah. The big one here in Canada was HMV at the time. So they would be stacked up with resumes all the time. It'd be really hard to get a job there because everybody wanted it.
That's true. I remember trying to get that gig, and I must have been 20 or 21, and I kept calling the music store. It was a music store chain in Wisconsin, and they had about a dozen or more stores. It was a great store for all kinds of music. It wasn't one specific genre of stuff, but it was very popular. And I remember calling there and trying to get in, and I called like 3 or 4 times. And I think the manager finally got sick of hearing from me. Like, all right, he says, all right, come down here. Let's meet you. And then I got that. I worked there for many years. Worked through college there, selling records. Didn't pay very well, but I got free concert tickets and got to meet a bunch of industry people and musicians that I'm still am in touch with today. So it was a great kind of just a networking and super hang to learn about all kinds of genres of music. So it was really good for me. Yeah, for sure.
Now, being immersed in all these different types of genres like jazz and such, how did you end up getting involved in working with bands like Trixter?
Yeah.
Kip Winger, for instance.
Yeah. There's some stories there. So I spent, the next, 10 years still playing jazz music, but I started doing other kinds of things. And by the late 2005, 2010 area, I was playing a lot of different styles of music besides jazz. And I guess you could start with Kip Winger. So I had always listened to his music, and he came through and did a solo gig in my area. And we went to the solo gig, and I was blown away that this guy could sing like this and plays a 12-string Alvarez, and he puts I think it's a distortion pedal on it, and he has this amazing sound. And he was just kicking butt. And I thought, this was amazing. He was playing solo. And I started listening more to his solo records. He has a number of solo records that are fantastic. And on some of the solo records, he has African and Eastern percussion on some of the records. So the next time he came through, I got this bug, and I said, hey, I want to try and sit in with this guy, because as a jazz musician, that's what we do a lot. We just play with everybody. We just sit in, we just meet people, we just jam. So he was doing a 3-night engagement at a casino, and the first night I came, and he hung out after the gig at like the merch table and stuff, and I brought my jazz CD, and I said, hey man, I play hand percussion, and I'd love to jam with you this week. Can we play? You want to play? He's like, okay. So I brought my drum, and that's what happened. I brought a djembe drum, and we did, I don't know, like maybe 3 or 4 songs. And it was funny because the night I did it, and I guess you got to know Kip because he has a great sense of humor. And his solo gigs, it's not just music. He talks, he'll tell stories, and then he jokes with the audience, almost like a comedy kind of thing at some points. Anyway, I wrote a list of songs I'd prepped. I handed it the list up there. He got it on the stage, and he goes, I don't do this one. No, I don't do this one. I was kind of sweating, and I'm like, oh, shit, like these are the songs I've worked up, I could play with. Well, maybe we can do that. Maybe we can do that. Well, I'll call you up later. So he put the list down, and I was kind of sweating it, and he played like, I don't know, just a couple songs, 1 or 2. He said, hey, why don't you come up here? So then I ran up and played, and then after that, I would do that a number of times until the point where he started hiring me to play. So I guess he started really digging it, and I think there were some jobs that we ended up playing that, kind of set us off together. I mean, we played, we got a really great one at the Fillmore in San Francisco, open for Y&T, and we played down at the Iridium Club in Manhattan, and so these were like really, really cool shows. And I got the bug. I'm like, I had a tenured teaching gig. I was doing great. I didn't need to make a change, but my wife and I, we don't have any children, so we talked, and I said, let's go for this. So I talked with Kip, and I'm like, hey, man, I want to play music, as a focus of my living. And I want to, instead of moving just at the slow pace of just, academically, I'd like to keep doing that, but I want to really go for it. I still, everything works. My hands and my feet work. I wasn't tied to, a family where I stay in school for the kids and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
he's like, man, why don't you consider moving to Nashville? It's a great place. Kip's here. So we came and visited a couple times, and I had some former students that lived here, and I dug it. I thought it'd be a good thing. So we sold the house and we moved, and I knew that there's this drummer named Russ Miller who I respect a lot. And he spoke on a documentary that I watched, and he was talking about the business of music. And Russ Miller says, there's a lot of this business that's like being seen on a gig. So, if you're just at home practicing, no one's going to see you, right? You got to be out, playing with bands, getting out there, being on the circuit. So that was kind of my motto too. I thought, well, I'm going to go for this. Kip and I are going to play. This is going to be great. And he's an amazing musician. He's still working with a band this year, but he also composes classical music. And he was up for a Grammy a couple years ago for classical composition. And he has a debut of one of his works here. It's a violin concerto here at the Nashville Symphony in 2 months. Yeah, I just had breakfast with him. He's getting ready for that concerto. It's going to be really an exceptional thing. So I think they're recording it at the Nashville Symphony. So people in general, I don't know how they understand how talented this guy is. He's amazing. So anyway, the musicians know. So, being seen on a gig with Kip, there's not a lot of people that play with him. So that was helpful. So we were playing shows, and one night we were playing some shows with Eric Martin and PJ Farley. And I didn't know them. And there were 3 nights in a row, and we got to meet each other and really kind of hit it off. And on the 3rd night, Kip was feeling sick. He was not going to do the gig. He decided he couldn't do it. And so he sent me on, and he said, yeah, man, go and play with Eric. So I sat in with Eric, and this was probably it was before COVID. So it was like probably 2019. And Eric was doing an acoustic thing, and PJ was playing bass, and they were doing the Mr. Big songs, and they did maybe 1 or 2 Trixter songs. So Eric and PJ were playing together pretty regular, and I kind of broke in. And that's kind of how it works sometimes. So we started playing. We actually played some gigs during the COVID period, some wild ones. We played a couple where everyone was masked. There was one in Illinois where the club owner didn't believe in COVID or masks, so no one was masked, and it was at the high point of that. And we were playing, we were doing it, and we all thought we were going to get sick. No one got sick. It was amazing. And we played something in Cleveland, Ohio, where we were on top of Eric and I were on top of a shipping container. So it was like a outdoor thing on this shipping container, transatlantic shipping container, and then everyone was in like a fenced-in area outside, and they're separated. So we were doing gigs. There weren't many bands or musicians playing a lot during that time, but we were getting to know each other musically and having fun and doing that. And so that went on for quite some time, a couple years. And we had a couple gigs with Warrant. We opened for Warrant, and one of them was at the Sweetwater Pavilion in Fort Wayne, Indiana, at the Sweetwater Music Store. They have a gorgeous pavilion outdoors. And we were getting through the gig, and Eric was having trouble. He is getting sick. Oh. So it came on real sudden, and during the gig, he kind of lost wind, and he got through the gig. But the next week, we were supposed to play with Warrant in this little town in Illinois called Gibson City, Illinois, which is kind of in the middle of Illinois, and they were doing a special event for the nurses during COVID. There was a healthcare party, and it was a street festival opening for Warrant. So Eric can do it. He couldn't make the gig, and PJ's like, hey, I don't want to cancel this. I think we should try to do this, and let's call up Steve Brown, And he said, it was like a couple of days prep. He said, here's a list of the Trixter songs I want you to learn. And bear in mind, I'm still playing this djembe thing, which had developed from a djembe percussion. If you don't know what that is, everybody out there, it's a goblet-shaped African drum, and it's an old instrument, and it's an awesome instrument. It's really got a lot of earthy tones and everything. But I was playing that in a cajon, which is a Peruvian drum, and people call it the box, and it's pretty popular nowadays. It's the last 20 years or so. A lot of people play it. And I used to do a lot of hand stuff, but I was doing bass drum pedal now, hi-hat, and crash cymbal and cowbell. And so it was this percussion setup. It was like an acoustic drum set, right?
Yeah.
So bear in mind, that's what I was doing, building that with Eric, and I've been doing that with Kip, and it had evolved over time, over years. So anyway, by the time I got with Steve, we showed up and played that gig, and the three of us really hit it off. And we were rocking the Trixter songs and everything. And then we decided, hey, Trixter isn't working as Trixter. Let's do an acoustic Trixter. So that was the thing, and it was coming out of COVID still. So there was a lot of work for like small groups and acoustic bands. So we did that for a year, maybe two, something like that. And then I guess it was last January, we played with a great lineup. It was at the Rock Island Festival in Florida, in Key West. And that night it was like Lou Gramm with Dee Snider and Bret Michaels, the Party Gras thing, and Jefferson Airplane, I think, yeah. And we were on the bill with them, and we went up and did we did the acoustic thing, but by that time I had moved to a bass drum. So I mean, it was kind of funny, like, here comes the bass drum, here comes the snare drum, like I was building a thing. And I think how it went down was Eddie Trunk was at the show, and he's like, you guys need to rock. I'm like, come on, you should just rock. So the idea, burst into this thing where it's like, well, all right, Steve is singing, he's singing his ass off, he's singing the lead parts because Pete's kind of basically retired from touring. He's not going to tour anymore, and he, the band kind of has his blessing. We actually did a gig with Pete last year in Arizona where he lives, and man, it was fun. He came and sat in with us, with the Trixter, with PJ and Steve, and it was me with Trixter. So that was cool. But anyway, Steve's singing his butt off, and PJ sings some songs as well. They both sing. They trade off like the Eagles a little bit, and they sing the tunes, and we play the Trixter set. So it's an homage to that songbook, and we're having a great time. People are enjoying themselves, and so it became an electric Trixter last year, and then we started playing some tour dates with Enough's Enough and Pretty Boy Floyd throughout last year, and we're launching off for that again starting next month. We're doing a lot of dates with Pretty Boy Floyd and a young band out of Austin called Christian Shields Band. Yeah. And Chips Enough's going to jump on a couple dates with us too. So that's really super cool. We're doing that for about a month, and then Trixter has dates throughout the summer, which we're announcing soon. We're going to be playing pretty much all over the country this year. Yeah.
There's so much to look forward to. That's amazing that it's still going really strong. I'm happy to hear that.
I'm out of breath. That's a lot of stuff, like blah, blah, blah. But it was sort of like, for me, it was like an evolution of meeting different people, and then also, moving through this period of like playing a hand percussion kind of thing, and then finally but I mean, I love playing percussion, no doubt, but a drum set's my instrument. I love to play the drum set, and I'm really fortunate with Steve and PJ because they're having me sing, and they're supporting me and helping me out, learning how to do this a lot better. So I'm singing with those guys. So all three of us are singing and playing our butts off and jamming and having fun, and we all get along really great. And we're looking forward to getting back on the road next month. This month.
You're playing with some fantastic talent, and that's so great that you get to be a part of it all together. We had Eric Martin on this show in 2020, and that was one of my favorite interviews. It was we both had nothing to do, so we talked for like 2.5 hours.
That can happen with E. That's totally, I get it. I totally get it. Yeah, he's a trip. He's one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. I enjoy Eric, and I miss him. I haven't played with him in a little over a year and a half, probably. I saw him last. Trixter opened for Mr. Big last spring, so that was fun. And we got to see the band and hang out with Eric a little bit. But I look forward to getting back with him. We've been back and forth, but he's really busy. He's going to be in Europe this summer with Avantasia, and he's doing an acoustic gig with a guitar player friend of his. And then he's doing some dates with Jeff Scott Soto, I think, in Brazil or South America. So he's pretty booked. He's pretty booked up.
He gets to travel the world a lot, and he also gets to do a lot of variety, which is great because he's such a phenomenal singer. Definitely one of my favorites in rock music.
For sure. That voice.
Mm-hmm.
I've been lucky. I mean, I didn't mention this, but speaking of the 90s, I've also been working with Anthony Corder from Tora Tora, who's a great singer and an absolute great friend of mine. I've been really fortunate to play with all these rock musicians that are, like, in my opinion, like my favorite singers from that music period. And it's just like, how did that happen?
Great talents, great guys. Oh,
yeah, sure.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
hi. If you enjoy Dope Nostalgia, thank you. Consider becoming a Patreon subscriber today for as little as $1 a month. It helps keep the show on the air and rolling. So if you want to check out our Patreon, it's at patreon.com/dope nostalgia. $1 a month, and you'll be helping support one of your favorite podcasts.
What's up, guys? Damon Sharp here. You are listening to the Dope Nostalgia Podcast.
On the 80s and 90s Uncensored, listen to card-carrying Gen Xers Milo, that's me, and Jamie.
And that's me. On the 80s and 90s Uncensored, we banter, debate, and discuss various topics from those two glorious decades.
If you're old enough to remember those years, or if you're a fan of the era that defined American pop culture today, then you'll love the 80s and 90s Uncensored.
You're a miserable middle-aged office worker, and your life sucks, and essentially you don't have anything to look forward to. At least one day a week, you have the 80s and 90s Uncensored.
New episodes released every Monday.
Subscribe where you get your podcast.
Introducing the next generation from Nintendo, New Super Mario World, created especially for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. It's a bit more exciting, a bit more challenging, a bit more graphic, a bit more colorful, a bit more realistic, a bit more levels, a bit more secret, a bit more enemies, a bit more friends, a bit more sound, a bit hotter, a bit cooler, a bit weird, a bit more revolutionary, a bit more Mario, a bit more of what you want. It's 16-bit, and it's yours only if you get New Super Nintendo. Now you're playing with power, superpower.
What are some of your favorite tracks to play with each of those artists?
Oh.
And you can go deep cuts. Deep cuts, I love deep cuts.
Yeah. Well, with Trixter, I'll work it backwards maybe. With Trixter, we started playing Line of Fire, and I don't know, I have to check with those guys, but I don't think they played it live a lot. They have it recorded on that Live in Japan record, but Line of Fire, it's from the first record. We like playing that one. That's a great song. I always love playing One in a Million with Trixter. I just love that tune. It's such a great tune, and people like just react to it, right? So when we get to that part of the set, everybody just jumps for joy. I guess it's a great tune, and it brings a smile to your face. And the same way that does, Eric has a song called "Shine" that was on a later Mr. Big record that is the same feeling. It's such a great, it's a kind of a simple tune, but it's so uplifting, I guess. And with Eric, that's one I like a lot. And then I like when I play with Eric and Kip, I actually prefer their solo material because that's when they can do them. Because you know what I mean? Because with Eric, he's playing the Mr. Big songs, but Eric has a huge songbook as well of great songs, as does Kip. They both have amazing solo work that they usually pull from a lot when we get to do those gigs. So I'm crossing my fingers that I get back to doing some of that kind of stuff. It's a challenge, and it's fun too, because a lot of times it's a different kind of feel because it's how should I say? Because you're not slamming, and it's not it's more reserved kind of, and there's a little more space in the music, and so it's a different vibe, and it's not for big concert halls. Usually on those acoustic gigs, you're playing a couple hundred people, but that's awesome. I love that because then you get to talk to people and have interactions off the stage and everything, and that's a really fun thing to do. Just it's just the smaller theaters and smaller venues and stuff like that. So there's Kip has an instrumental piece called Free that's on his record Songs from the Ocean Floor that was really challenging for me, and I love playing it with him. He has this finger style thing he does. He glues on the nails, and he does a finger style thing on the 12 string, and it's like it has some mixed meter in it and stuff like that, and I like that kind of stuff. It's a progressive music, so I think that's why I'm really a big Winger fan too, because they're a progressive rock band. And they're deeper cuts. Rainbow and the Rose, that's always a fun one to play with Kip too. Anyway, a lot of them. There's a lot of fun music that we get to play. So yeah, good question though.
And you really get to hone your skills on songs like that, right?
Yes, for sure.
Keeps it interesting.
Yeah.
Now, you've gotten to play with some of the greatest players in rock. Are there any collaborations you haven't made that you would love to do?
Oh, yeah. Wow. I personally live in a space in my head where I keep trying to, get better and work on my music and be a better musician. And I always think about maybe the greatest kinds of things that'll happen for me haven't happened yet, so I don't know what they are. It's a funny kind of sidestep to that question is that I often think about people in the past that I would have loved to have met and played with. And one of them would have been Jimi Hendrix. I would have loved to have jammed. Like, I love the way Mitch Mitchell played with Jimmy, and I would love to have jammed with Jimmy just once, right? And I'm a jazz nut, so I always think about I would love to have played behind Billie Holiday. And another one is Charlie Parker. So those are my three that I wish somehow I could have had, I could have met any of them. I have a funny quick story. I have this buddy, Jeff Salisbury is a great drummer. He used to work in Albert King's blues band. And he was telling me this story that happened to him. He was playing with Albert King, and Jimi Hendrix showed up. And I can't remember where it was, right? But he shows up to the gig and walks up. He's going to sit in with the band. So here they're playing, and all of a sudden Jimi Hendrix comes on the stage. And the rhythm guitar player in Albert King's band gets the guitar off and gives it to Jimmy. And Jimmy takes the guitar, and they're still mid-song. And Jeff, my buddy, is like on, oh my God, this is amazing. Jimi Hendrix is going to play with us. And Jimmy's futzing with the guitar. He hits the amp. He's trying to get the thing. And then he walks over to Albert while the song's going on, right? And he's like, this isn't working. This guitar is not working. I can't turn it up. And he goes, can I use yours? And Albert King's like, no, man, no way. And so Jimmy goes, oh, okay, well. And he takes the guitar off and gives it back to the rhythm guy and steps down from the stage. And Jeff's like, still in the song. He said the last thing he saw was Jimmy's, afro hair walking away from the stage. So apparently, like, Albert was such a kind of a control guy that he didn't even let this rhythm guy play much, right? So he had like a governor on whatever this sound was. What?
How do you do that? Oh, man. Regrets.
Albert King didn't want to get upstaged by Jimi Hendrix, so my friend Jeff was like, that could have been a thing. Like, I could. But he always says the story. He always tells the story like that. And he's like, oh, I was on stage with Jimi Hendrix. I'm like, what? Tell me about that. He would tell it better. But yeah, I think of that because I like to study music of the past. So I try to keep learning about artists and learn new music. And I try to listen to new music every day. Sometimes I get in a rut, but I really like to, especially now you can easily access everything, the library of human music. So I like to keep getting turned on to new artists, or definitely try to listen to new things or different things every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
keep it fresh.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm working on I'm working on a rock side project rock band to play here in Nashville. I'm trying to get some things in Nashville going so that I can play more in town, because there's so many musicians here and there's so much music. But I come back and then I leave, and I come back and I leave. So when I'm here, I want to start. So I'm working on a jazz project here with some friends, and then we just played on Sunday. And then I'm trying to get a rock band project together just to play locally, you know what I mean? Because I got to the point where I'm doing all this traveling, which is amazing. But when I get home, I want to still try and play. So those are some things I'm looking to do with some friends that I have here that we're trying to get some things off the ground. So that's this year. We're trying to do that. So I guess that would answer that question.
What's your studio work been like of late? And what's an example of a song that you've worked on that I could play on the show?
Oh, okay. So something I'm on. So that's the thing. So I spent a lot of years as a session drummer for Hal Leonard Publications. It's like educational material. So it's stuff that you probably wouldn't play on the show. You know, like they're like jazz piano books and jazz violin books, and like I'm the rhythm section. You know, and I enjoyed doing that. I loved it. I had to be all these different drummers, all these different sessions, and some of the sessions were challenging because there was snippets of music. You'd have to play like 8 or 12 or 7 or 5 or 3 bars of something, and then just do that. And I did one time. It was called the Jazz Violin Series, and the jazz violin player who played all the stuff didn't show up. There was no player. We just had to play the charts without the lead part. So you played the chart, played the whole song, got the ending and everything, and then they went and did it, you know, again with someone else playing all the lead parts. And then when you heard it, you're like, wow, this sounds amazing. But those were kind of weird sessions to do where you just like doing little snippets and stuff. So I would say, to tie those last 2 questions together, you know, I would say that would be one thing for me that I need to have, you know, happening in my career is I need to be on some more records, right? I have my own jazz record out, so I've enjoyed that for a lot of years, and I've played on some as a sideman on a blues record, a jazz vocal album, my cousin's grunge rock project from a bunch of years ago. I guess on your show, I guess you could probably play my jazz record. Maybe if you like that kind of stuff, but that's what I would say.
It was 90s? We could do it.
Oh.
I can play anything you want me to play, actually.
2004 it came out. Yeah. So,
that'll work.
Yeah. But that still stands up for us. I was really fortunate. I was working with some guys at Hal Leonard that could really play. So we did this thing called the Hal Leonard Jazz Guitar Method. Still, I guess it still sells pretty good. It's the actual jazz book for jazz guitar. And after the session, we had such a good time. I said, "Hey guys, let's do a record." All right. So I have my friend Jeff Stradle, who plays guitar, and Mark Salveson, who plays bass on that record. And those guys have been really successful. They have an awesome blues band in the style of like B.B. King, Buddy Guy. It's called Altered Five. And Altered Five's been playing all over the world. They got a bunch of records out, and they come to Nashville and work with Tom Hambridge, who's he's a Grammy Award-winning producer, and he's the drummer for Buddy Guy. So the guys in my band, they're really having a great run with this Altered Five blues band. I hear them a lot on Satellite XM, and whenever I hear them, I'm like, dude, I just heard you again today. So. But we still like that record. You know, it's been 20 years almost since that came out. Yeah, it has been. Oh my God, it's over 20 years. But that's the thing I need to do is I need to get on some more people's records. So, you know, that's the thing. That's coming up.
Goals.
Yeah, goals.
taking you back to the past about your personal preferences and joys in music. Do you have a vinyl collection? What is it like?
I do. That's a cool question. I have it over here in the closet space over here. What is it like? Well, there's some classic rock stuff in there. I've got a lot of used records. My pride and joy collectible things, probably something from that I bought new, the Led Zeppelin physical graffiti with the windows when you pull it open and you flip it around and the different window scenes happen.
Oh, wow.
That's one of my favorite albums, but I still have that. I've got a lot of jazz records. I've got some classical music. There are a lot of great record shops here in Nashville. So once in a while I'll get together with a friend and we'll go hunting for things and just go shopping for things. So yeah, a lot of jazz records.
What are the prices like at some of these stores? Is it like if you do a lot of digging, you can find some gems for a low price?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, sometimes they have something that's like $5 underbin or something like that. And I've dug some stuff out of those. But what's the name of the place? Now I'm forgetting the names of the stores. But yeah, there's a bunch of them here in Nashville. And they're not expensive. So I play my record. What do I have? Hold on a second. I have some stuff that was just on. John Lee Hooker.
Very cool.
Let's see what else. Oh, I got the Dixie Dregs. Record here. I was playing that recently.
Wow.
We got to go see them and meet Steve Morse because Rod Morgenstein plays the Dregs. So got to meet the band and everything. Those guys were in Nashville. They were playing great. Ooh. Oh my God, it was so good. The music was so amazing. So yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. Being in Nashville is funny because I don't listen to country. So anything else is fair game.
Yeah. Me. I love that you have that unique perspective on things and it's still stays rock and roll and other genres. Have you been to JBJ's yet on Broadway?
Oh no.
I'm just curious because I want to go one day.
You should go. It's a happening place. A lot of people have been that I know have been playing there and hanging out and everything. And I think members of his band show up there. John has showed up there and played.
Yeah. David Bryan just had a birthday there.
Yeah. I'm terrible. I don't hang out enough. That's my problem. I gotta go.
Well, it's like it's to a point sometimes where it's like it's just too busy and you just don't feel like going out and where it's crazy nightlife, right? Sometimes you just want to relax.
Well, Broadway can get crazy. It can be very busy and a little nutso. But yes. Wow. A lot of times you just want to, for me, it's like the last place I want to be when I'm not working is a bar. So I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't really want to do that. But yes.
What's one of your most memorable performances ever that stood out for you?
Yeah. As far as like just for me, like how it went for me, or
for you, yeah, from your point of view.
It was.
Yeah.
Well, the last few Trixter gigs we did at the end of the year last year were really memorable. We ended up finishing the year. We opened for Ace Frehley in Iowa, and that was a great show. And I had never seen Ace live before, and I really dug it. It was super. It was old school rock and roll show. He had his guitar on fire with the smoke coming out and everything, and the band was great. And I really liked his voice. I thought he sang great. I was really into it. So hopefully we'll get to do those again. We actually just did a Canada run at the end of last year, October or something.
Yeah.
We played Montreal at this place called the Piranha Bar, and I had a great time there. I loved Montreal. It was so great. Then we made our way to Ottawa, and I can't recall the name of that club. right now. Can't think of it. But then we ended up playing a concert in Toronto, which was real memorable, and it was a sold-out show with Firehouse.
Oh, cool.
We played with them, and it was like a theater show, and that was really great.
I'm over on the other side of the country, so.
Yeah, where are you? On the west?
Yeah, I'm in Edmonton, so it's like towards the Rockies.
Yeah, well, we're trying to get something. There's talk of doing stuff that way, so I don't think we have anything on the books, but we've been talking with promoters about doing that area probably this year. So maybe that'll happen. I'll definitely let you know.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'll be there.
I think we're on this Trixter tour. We're not getting that far north. I think. Well, we're getting to Seattle, but that's probably way too far for you.
It's a trek. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's on the radar. Totally, your area.
Good to know. And if you need to know about any venues that would be good to book, you can always ask.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to send me a list, we'll forward them on.
Sure. Now, back in the day, I remember getting so many different types of music magazines. What were your favorite music magazines that you were into back in that day?
I didn't do the magazine thing. I think the only magazines that I was really around were like my brother was a guitar player, so I saw Guitar World all the time. See George Lynch on the cover.
Yeah.
So I saw those, and I guess as a younger musician too, I had Modern Drummer magazine. So my wife coincidentally keeps telling me I have to throw them away. I actually have them all from the whole time that I have subscribed to. So I have like cases of Modern Drummer. They're heavy. She's like, when are you going to get rid of those magazines? I'm like, I'm not going to get rid of those Modern Drummer magazines.
Don't do it.
Those Neil Peart articles in there and stuff. I'm not getting rid of that.
That is a treasure.
Had all those. Yeah. So probably from that era for sure, from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wish I still had all my Metal Edge magazines. Those were fun.
I've seen some of those recently. It's funny to look back at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Have you ever considered starting a podcast? Or maybe something that's like for drummers or something that would be really interesting?
It's crossed my mind, but not. I haven't gotten to the point of really wanting to do it. I've thought of it. What I usually do is if I have a friend who I think should be interviewed, there's a great one in Nashville, a drummer's podcast here, and I've referred some people over to them. But I don't think I would do it. But I enjoy doing them with you, and so you've been doing this quite some time. You're saying
5 years. Yes.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
You got it down. I like it.
Hey.
You got a rig and everything. I'm just speaking into I probably have terrible sound. I'm just speaking into my Mac here, but it's great to see people are doing it and they're doing it at a high level, and continuing to do it. Because like you said, when Eric was on, it was like, well, what are we doing? Everyone's stuck at home. Let's do this thing.
Yeah. And back then too, like we were just figuring out how to use Zoom and stuff like that. Him and I did our interview over Skype, which apparently Skype is sayonara. It's taken off. It's gone.
Just read that. I know. That's interesting.
Yeah. So a little bit different now. We learned a lot during the last few years.
Yes, we did.
Well, I'm so grateful to have had this time to chat with you, Benjamin. Thank you for making time to be on the podcast.
Well, thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it. And when we get in your neck of the woods, I'll definitely write you and we'll get you out to the show.
I would love it. Good. All the best to you and the guys, and I hope you have so much fun.
Thanks so much. Take it easy.
Take care. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Social media, we've got it. Send us an email, dopenostalgiapodcast@gmail.com. Twitter, Nostalgia Dope. Or on Insta, dope_nostalgia.
This podcast is licensed by SOCAN because we believe that artists should be paid for their work.
Hey there, music lovers. Did you know that getting licensed to share music online is not just the right thing to do? it's also super important for supporting creators and the music industry. That's why we're proud to be licensed by SOCAN, a copyright collective that grants licenses for online music broadcasts in Canada. By getting licensed through SOCAN, you ensure that every beat, every note, and every melody that you play is compliant and fair to the creators. Join us in supporting the music community. Visit SOCAN's website at www.socan.com and get your web radio, podcast, or any other use of online music licensed today. Let's stream beautiful music together, legally and ethically. SOCAN. Music, people, connected.
Hey friends. I kind of miss getting those messages on my answering machine like we used to back in the day. What I'd really love is to hear from you, the listeners of Dope Nostalgia. This is your chance to be on the show, giving feedback, telling us what you love, what you hate, and who you'd like to see more of. Call us at our new toll-free number, 1-888-741-9192. Leave us some feedback. Your message could be played on the show. So give us a call, 1-888-741-9192. Toll free.